Hey yo, this is Des Rocks, and you're watching the Carr Stereo Podcast.
This is Rachel Bolan, and this is the Carr Stereo Podcast.
So the Carr Stereo Podcast welcomes someone I have wanted to have on for a really long time. This is long overdue. Matt B. in the house, from ashes to new, coming to New Jersey, which I'm really super excited about. I'm going to get to see you guys in a couple of weeks. But man, I will tell you, 2026 for you has been a friggin' amazing. So I'm so happy to have you on. I could have probably pushed to have you on pre-cycle of all this, but I'm really psyched to have you on now, because there's just so much to talk about. So welcome, congratulations. Reflections has been out for a couple months. And all right, where do I start? So it's like the fifth full length. So let's kind of talk about record 1 to record 5. How is it different? And how are you different as an artist?
Well, I'm about 13 years older. 12 years older, maybe something like that. So that's definitely one thing how I'm different. I've grown. I've learned a lot. I wouldn't say that I've learned a lot more in the way of music theory. I still ignore a lot of that because I write based off of emotion and based off of how I'm feeling. But I've learned how to kind of hone in on my skill, what I'm good at, what I'm not good at, and I think that I've done that with producing, writing, performing, everything. You know, I'm definitely more of a seasoned artist. I think back then I was just an emotional kid who just had something to say. I'm still an emotional person and has something to say. I think I'm just a little bit better at saying it now. So yeah, I mean, that the band has obviously grown a ton. You know, we went from being a band that was new and selling 20 to 50 tickets, probably something like that, to selling thousands of tickets. So, we've grown quite a bit, and our catalog has grown pretty extensively, our fan base as well, and we're still growing and getting stronger and getting bigger. And like I've said in previous interviews, people still consider us a new band, and I'm really grateful.
I think that's amazing. I love that. I love that. I love a slow and steady wins the race. You guys have been out for a while, of course. 5 records in. Last record did really well for you guys. So this was a tough follow-up, not necessarily easy to say, hey, we're gonna take it to the next level. But that's what I really admire. I think the band has always had a very significant sense of self. There's always been a self-awareness. Yeah. I've always seen the band as not resting on laurels, wanting to take it to the next level. And many bands can say that. But there has been an evolution, I think, with you guys, and an evolution in your sound. But still, again, you are thought of as a newer band with a younger fan base. And I think that that's like the best of every world. Like, it doesn't get better than that.
It doesn't, really. I'm so grateful for it, because, we could be considered something else and not have reached our pinnacle. And I just think that we're just not there yet. I post all the time on my personal Facebook page, about the new upcoming band, oh, thank you for telling me that we're going to blow up, and thank you for this, and thank you for that. And people are like, have you not? And it's like, from an outside perspective, maybe yes, but from an inside perspective, is it's still, it's still a grind, still a climb, still a,
because you still feel the same. You still feel the same. You still feel like the guy who wants to do better than you did the last time.
I'm always, I am the end of the world guy. I am the, Danny said to me, we were at an airport. This is like a year ago, maybe. We were working on Reflections. We were at an airport. And I remember it pretty specifically. We were waiting to get Panda at an airport. And he says to me, he says, hey, man, he's like, I think I get it now. I think I get why everything is such a live or die situation for you. He's like, everything is, you're always worried that failure is right around the corner. I was like, yeah. I was like, because if I don't think that way, then I get complacent. And I think that everything is okay, and that leaves me susceptible to failure. And I was like, if I'm constantly worried about it, if I'm constantly aware that it's there, that it could happen, it pushes me to do better things. It pushes me to be greater. It pushes me to not get lazy It pushes me to, because a lot of people like, especially artists, they'll procrastinate. Like, and it's like, okay, well, I'll get that done. Or, you've always heard about like, they never finish a piece of art because they're never satisfied with it. Like, if I were like that, I wouldn't have anything to say. I would have nothing. And I can't be like that. I'm just like, hey, we've got to do this because if not, tomorrow you're going to lose your house. Like, do you want to lose your house? Like, I don't think
I
you want to
think
lose your
Danny,
house.
though,
It's like,
appreciates you being that guy who's going to bear that cross in the band. There's got to be
does
somebody who
now.
does it. Yeah, there has to be somebody who does it. And unfortunately, Matt, that is you. It makes you a great artist, but it definitely gives you, as we say in the Italian world, it definitely gives you agita.
What's that?
It's a little bit of heartburn.
No. Oh, sure. Yeah, I've got a lot of that.
That's what we say. You got agita. That's a little bit of the heartburn in
Actually,
the
my
the
heartburn
Italian
comes from
world.
being a vocalist. People don't know, but when you're constantly screaming and yelling and doing all of that, like vocalists are so, we're talking about this now, but vocalists are so prone to that reflux because of just constantly forcing
Yeah.
your diaphragm. So I remember back like years ago when we toured with Papa Roach, and maybe he doesn't want me to say this, but we toured with Papa Roach, and Jacoby had Tums on his stand on stage, and I was like, is he just eating Tums while he's singing? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
it was wild. Maybe it was just a bad day for him that day. I don't know, but like it was still crazy for me to see. So like, yeah, I found that out as well. So yes, a little bit of the stress that you're talking about, and also the lifestyle. Like you put
The
those
odds.
together,
Yep. The
and
odds. The odds.
boom.
All right. I want to talk about some stuff from the record because I want to talk about the fact that you guys had a Billboard mainstream #1 track, rock track. Big deal. Where is it, baby? Show me. Show me the money. I love that. Congratulations.
There it is. Not hung up yet, so that's why it's over here. I took it out of the box like 2 days ago and haven't had a chance to hang it.
So deserved. Hook and melody, always a part of the band sound along with the heavy. I've always heard it. Drag Me, as soon as I heard that song, leading off the record, I was like, this song is a #1 at rock, #1 at rock radio. Did you know it kind of after you did it? Did you think like this could be our #1?
So no, I didn't specifically. Typically, I do. Typically, I can hear a song and I can go, "That's the one." Um, so I'm conditioned to believe that rap and screaming can't work, right? Like I'm conditioned to believe over the years of getting phone calls and emails and text messages going, "Hey, get rid of the screaming, get rid of the rapping." It's like, well, okay, so get rid of our DNA. Like I like get rid of who we are. Like that sounds silly. Like do we want to present ourselves to people as something that we're not? Like that doesn't sound like a good idea, regardless if it helps us climb charts or not. Like I want to be genuine to who we are. Like I don't want to show people. And we've done this. We've created songs that I hate. Like I can't stand some of the songs that we've created because like we were told, hey, create this, create this, create this, create this. So like this record, Reflections, was a record where it was just like, no. Like Blackout was the first step to that. There was one song on Blackout, and I won't tell you which one it is, that was created not for an algorithm, but for like the format. And I don't like that song. I'm not a fan of it because of that reason. Now, we did do it a little bit like we're going to create this for us with that in mind instead of creating it for them with that in mind. So, but Blackout was the first time that we were more so about like what we wanted, and we saw the success of that.
That's
We
not
saw
easy to do, though, and that's not easy to do. Here's the best kept secret from someone who has programmed rock radio stations for more than half her life. The algorithm changes. So the shitty thing that a band can do is change themselves because the radio algorithm changes. Now, sometimes it
Yeah.
takes time. Sometimes it changes every 2 years. Sometimes it's 4 years. Sometimes it's 6 years. Sometimes it's 6 months. But all of a sudden, you get that band, and then they tell everybody to sound like that band. So I've
Yep.
worked with consultants who said, how could you play this? People aren't going to. I had someone who wanted to have me fired because I played a Bob Seger record, like next to a Linkin Park record. And it's like, well, last time I checked, Seger sold probably about 150 million albums. So that's the thing. You guys have not succumbed to that. I have to be a radio band, therefore we're not going to be our band, we're going to be their band, and you did it on your own terms.
Yeah. I mean, I just at this point in my life, this point in my career, like I have to make music that makes me happy. I have to make music that's genuine to who I am, and whatever that music does, that music does. So Drag Me was when they said that they wanted to go to radio with Drag Me, I was like, doesn't that go against everything that I've always been told? I'm like, listen, like both the verses are rap and it's got a breakdown. Like, doesn't that go? I was like, listen, I'm not against you trying it. I was like, but so I didn't really have, I'll be honest with you, I didn't have high hopes. I was like,
You
like,
didn't? Okay.
no, I was like, we'll see what happens. Like I didn't, and I got to the point in my career because this is my fifth album and I've never had a number one. I've gotten to the point in my career where I was just like, it is what it is. Like if we, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm not going to be bothered by it. Like I'm not going to hang everything that I have on this.
Yeah.
So when it did happen, I was like, okay, I guess everything I thought goes out the window. Like let's restart. But there are a couple songs on this record that I do have that feeling for, and one of them is currently being put out the radio. It's on a lot of stations from what I just saw an email actually just popped through a couple days ago. Die for You, that song, that one, that's the one where I like, sit back and listen and go, this one is massive. Like
I
this
heard
is
that when I
amazing.
listened to the record, as a whole, I was like track four, because I'm like a track person. Sometimes it takes me a while to know the titles, and then I was like track four, smash. Well, I've heard a lot of that though on this record. One of my favorites is Not Psycho. Is like another. I love that. Maybe because I'm kind of a dark gal and it's scary to me. But I hear a lot of those, this is a deep record in a lot of potential chart toppers. Not that that's necessarily the most important thing to you, but I think 5 records in, I think that's
It's cool.
a pretty cool thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
if I
almost
can
like the
hang
Rock
more
and
of
Roll
those
Hall
on
of
the
Fame.
wall, like that's cool. I'm cool with that.
You said something interesting to me. You said, yeah, if it happens, that's great. We're really excited. We'll embrace that. But if it doesn't, it doesn't. I don't make records for that. And that's what I kind of feel about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm always happy for a band that gets in. I think it's like nice if you can get in for your band. I don't think it's the most important thing in the world. But for a hardworking band like From Ashes to New, I think it's beautiful and you deserve mucho congratulations on a mainstream number one.
Thank you.
Changing
Thank
the
you.
mainstream. I think that's kind of what it's all about. So talk to me a little bit about, I got to get the tea on Not Psycho, because there has to be like an inspiration behind this song.
A lot. There's a lot of inspiration.
Who's
So
the psycho or not psycho?
I think if my band were to like to take a vote, it would probably be me. Maybe me and Maddie, maybe on different ends of the psycho spectrum. But so the song is our one day song. We always have a one day song on our records. It's like I like to do these. I like to like when we're working really, really, really hard and we need a couple more songs. Like I like to do this like practice where we just sit down and I go make a song. And like
Ooh.
we don't think about it. We just sit there and we write a song. And like it's not overthought. Okay, I'll go. Okay, I'll look at Lance or Jimmy now, and I'll go. Okay, play a riff, and then they'll play a riff, and I'm like, no, change that. Like very producer-esque type style, and I'm like, no, change that. This, that. Boom, got a riff. Track it. We'll lay it down, and it's like, okay, drum to that. Okay, great. Do that, and like we'll just do that with a whole song, and then once we have the instrumental built, we'll do the same thing melodically and then lyrically, and it's like, okay, well, what do we want to do? Okay, this is the melody. What do we want to talk about? Okay, this is what we want to talk about. And we try and do that all in one day. And then do it. And that's what Not Psycho ended up being. It was our one day song. Panic was also a one day song. It was,
Ooh.
Through It All was a one day song. So
Ooh.
a lot of our gigantic Through It All's gold and Panic's getting ready to go gold. So a lot of our one day songs end up being those big songs that people really love. And I think the reason I love doing that is because you're not overthinking anything. It's just organic. It's just, hey, what's happening in this moment? How do I feel? And I think that at this point in this record, because of everything that we went through to get to where we were, it was like, hey, listen, I know you think I'm fucking crazy right now, but I promise you I'm not. And I thought that it was really cool to say that, I have these voices in my head, but don't worry, all the bad ones I finally got rid of. I just kept the good ones around. And
Yeah.
it's just like
Yeah.
this irony and like still keeping voices in your head is like a
Yeah.
really bad idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, like it was that was the vibe around the whole song. And then we just kind of built it as this, we called our meme song. We used different sounds in it. We used different movies to inspire different parts. We used, it was just a fun piece of art. It was kind of just like breaking out the construction paper and crayons and just thinking about what comes up like at the top of your mind.
The spontaneity of creativity, which is so cool. Well, I've heard you kind of describe this record as almost like you're the middle ground where, you're sort of to this point, reaching for that point, leaving behind that point, which I think is great. Five records in, almost like, I think I heard you describe it to someone as like a purgatory almost.
Yeah. I mean, we were looking for that in the title, but we just couldn't find it. So, reflecting, I think, was the idea.
Yeah.
I wanted to go with some type of purgatory type imagery and name, but we couldn't find it without it sounding cliche. Like we just couldn't find it without it sounding like 2007 rock. So it was
I think Reflections is so relatable too, because I think that's what we do. You sort of reflect back.
Or you should.
You should. And hopefully you learn from something to be able to take you to the next chapter. And I think this is a next chapter record. Well, I think you've always been somebody too on stage who connects, who wants to connect with the audience, who wants to make a connection kind of beyond just singing. You sort of want to be in there, what's going on in the front row. I've seen you really be very relatable to the crowd, wearing your heart on your sleeve, for lack of a better phrase. Why has that been so important for you? Because you could just be the guy who kind of fades into the woodwork and isn't that guy. But that doesn't seem to be something that's in your DNA.
Yeah, first off, I like to make sure people are having a good time. So, that's one of the reasons why I keep as much of an eye on the crowd as I can. The bigger the crowd gets, the harder it becomes,
seen you
right?
do that. I've been like, he's so aware on stage of who's doing what and who's, kind of along for the ride with the band. It's pretty incredible.
Well, I think people, and I say it sometimes, is people spend a lot of money to come to these shows. It's a vacation, really. I mean, you think about ticket price, parking price. If you get a T-shirt, heck, you get a beer, like whatever it is, like it's a lot of money.
It's a night out, kids. It's a night out.
Yeah. So like, I want to make sure people are enjoying that. Like I know that if I go somewhere and I do something and I spend a lot of time, or I get a babysitter or whatever it is to go do that, like I want to have a good time. I don't want to go there and get kicked in the head, or go there and like, someone spills a drink on me and treats me like shit the entire time. Like, I don't want to go there and have that happen to me. So I want to make sure that that's not happening to other people, but also like emotionally connect. I want to, I want people to understand that there is a message to our music, to our performance, to what we're doing. And we're not up there just trying to get a buck. Like we're up there. I'm up there because it literally is. For the longest time I called it therapy, but I think that maybe it's an addiction now. I think that it's kind of like playing professional sports, or like anybody else that does what I do. Like I think that the dopamine and adrenaline is just so through the roof while I'm up there that it's just, yes, it's therapy, but it's also a drug. And I think that people go to shows because they experience the same thing. So I want them to feel as high as I do, and we can all just be high together in the same moment, So really, like that's my vibe while I'm on stage, and it's therapeutic, but it's also it's soul altering, and I want everyone to have that same experience.
Yeah, it's invigor. I always find that I see artists that do that. It feels like it would be invigorating and exhausting all at the same time. You feel so invigorated, but you're really putting it all out there, pouring it all out. Again, for lack of a better phrase, I say people go down there and they drop their pants, and their swingers hanging out, and you're just so exposed. And I admire people that can do that, because I'm a closed off person. I'm not necessarily the most exposed person. So when I see people doing that, my hat goes off to you, because I think that that's the way you connect with people, on a different level. And it's the hardest thing to do. You are getting ready for tour. We're like a few days away from the Shinedown tour. I love this tour, and I'll tell you why. I've worked on radio shows for more than half my life. There's something about this bill that I'm going to get to see in my neck of the woods in the New York, New Jersey area. Shinedown, From Ashes to New, Coheed and Cambria. Holy shit. So I think of you guys as the young band, bringing in that younger crowd, that kind of under 30, a little bit over 30 crowd, anywhere from, kids to over 30. Then I think of Coheed, I'm such a Coheed fan. They're going to bring in some of those prog folks, some of those, and they have a diehard, amazing fan base. And then Shinedown, I remember playing Shinedown 20 something years ago for the first time on the radio and having the guys at a tiny little barbecue joint playing for 7 people. Their fan base is a bit of the older fan base who are now getting their kids at Shinedown shows.
Yeah.
This is not the bill where every band sounds the same and every band
Nope.
looks the same this is a fantastic rock and roll bill of catalog, musicianship, and showmanship. So I think this is a tremendous tour. So you get the call from Shinedown because a lot of people may not realize, bands don't make their money from just putting out music. Touring
No.
is where it's at. And if you can get on a really great tour with killer artists. So I remember when this tour got announced and I was like, who's on mine? Who's on mine? And it was you guys in Coheed. I was so excited. What did that feel like the day you found out that you guys were support for this tour?
Well, we love the Shinedown guys. They're brothers to us now, and Maddie and Zach are best friends. Um, so we kind of knew ahead of everybody knowing that they were looking at putting us on the tour. And they were just like, "Hey, you want to run it back? Like 2022 was so good, maybe we should run it back. It's been 4 years, maybe we should run it back." So, it's always great because it helps us. It not only helps us plan out our year, but we know that we're going to have a great time. Like we know that it's going to be a fun tour. We know that like Shinedown, those guys are the best of the best in so many different avenues. They're not only
Total
the best,
pros. Yep.
best.
Total
Yeah, I mean,
pros.
but like they're such class acts. They're such good people. Like they're just every single one of those guys is just a good person. It's the reason why they are where they are is because they're just good people. So like to tour with people, to tour in such big venues in front of so many new people, and to know that it's just going to be a comfortable tour is everything because it's a hard life. When you go out there for 5, 6 weeks and you leave everything behind to go do that, the first couple years that you're doing it and you're a little wet behind the ears, you're like, okay, this is cool, this is sick, like this is the life. Like, and some people never get past that, and that's fine for them, but that's a whole other story. And the fact that maybe you should get past that partying stage of it. Some people never get past that, but once you do, like, it's got to be good. It's got to be fun in other ways, and it's got to be good chemistry, good vibes. Like everything's got to be great, and Shinedown brings that. And that's the best thing about hearing that you're going to do a tour with Shinedown is that you're going to have a great time. And
Yeah. You don't have to
that's
worry
what we
about the
have.
bullshit. You don't
No.
have to worry about bullshit. You can be focused
Yep.
on doing your amazing show and connecting with that crowd that's going to come out and see you every night. And it's all that many more years since the last time you guys were out with them of music and catalog and fan base and building a fan base. And so I'm going to get to see you at the Prudential Center. It is a fabulous arena. You're going to absolutely love it. It's just a really beautiful, incredible place to play. We're very grateful to have it in New Jersey. They did the MTV Awards here
Sick.
many years and stuff. So it's really, really incredibly cool. And you've had such an evolution as a human being too. I mean, your dad, you've got a real youngin. So
Yeah.
and then a
He's
not
up
so
screaming right
youngin.
now. I don't know if you can hear him. He's up there.
He's there. It's his
Yeah.
house. Um,
Yep.
Advice if the kids want to be in music. I think I saw I think it was on social where you had your youngest on stage with you. Um,
Yes.
somewhere.
I had both of them on stage with my oldest and my youngest.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if it's like, Dad, I think, you know what, I'm scrapping everything. I'm scrapping school. I want to be a musician. Whether anyone has or hasn't said that to you, is it a life that you would recommend?
That's tough. That's a tough question. I mean, because I think that there's just so much that goes into that. I recommend a life that is fulfilling. And I think that if you're chasing a dream, like there are ways to chase that dream. I think that you shouldn't just go aimlessly at it. But I think that if you're doing something in life that makes you unhappy, then why are you doing it? Like, and I think that you need to ask yourself that question because it's not just about you, right? I think that one of the things and I think that maybe even younger generations are getting wrong is that life is all about them. And it's really not. Like there's just so many people that we affect with our lives. Like, when it comes to the intermediate family circle, if we have children, or even the people that are just within our aura that are around us every day. So like I'll touch base on a couple things and try and make it quick. I'll go back to what we were talking about with being on stage. And you were talking about how you're kind of closed off sometimes. And I think that some people, a lot of people are like that and they go to concerts because they can feel like they don't have to be. But I still think that because they're so guarded, they still keep that guard up. And one of my favorite things to do is help bring that guard down. Because people, when you're vulnerable and you can feel like you're not vulnerable and you can feel like you can just be you and you're not being judged or you're not being berated or you're not being bullied or you're not being whatever it is, like that is the way that we're supposed to live. Like we're supposed to live in tune with each other, in harmony, in love, all of those things. That's what we're supposed to do. So if I can make you feel like you can bring your guard down at a show, be yourself, be there, be you, and enjoy it, my job is done. So I think that's the same thing in life, is like if you don't feel that, then you're doing something wrong. If you don't feel comfortable, if you don't feel like you can let your guard down, if you constantly feel guarded, if you constantly feel attacked, even if it's by somebody outside or even someone inside you, like you're not doing it right. So if music is what you want to pursue, then I would say go full steam at it. I mean, that's what I did. I went full steam at it, but I did it for so long before I became successful at it. And I learned. I see a lot of the guys that I played with locally. Now, I give you a little tiny little story. When I played locally, people told me that I wasn't good enough. I was always told, you're not good enough. You can't be in my band. You can't write music. You can't do this. You can't do that. So this is what people always told me. And I took that personally. And I didn't take it personally in the fact that it was like, you don't know me. Everything that I do is great. I took it personally in the fact that it's like, well, I'm going to show you that you're wrong. And I worked really, 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 really hard to show people that they were wrong. And I wrote songs about it. The very first songs that I wrote were My Fight, Stay This Way, I Will Show You. Like those were songs that were talking about specifically that. They came from the heart. They came from how I felt. They came from the moment. They meant something genuine to me. And they just so happened to mean something genuine to everyone else that felt like they were counted out in life. And I think that in a lot of aspects in life, we as humans feel counted out. If it's not by other people, it's by ourselves. And a lot of times it's more so by ourselves. So I decided to take a leap of faith, believe in myself, believe in the ability to be able to grow, to be able to learn, and to be able to prove people wrong. And I took a lot of time to do that. It took a lot of growing, a lot of pains to get there. And I still am. But like we talked about earlier, I work hard every day to try and be a better version of myself than I was the day before. And I think that if people can keep that in mind and not just go, I want to party, I want to tour, I want to be, you know what I mean? Like you're going to fail if that's your outlook. If you want it, you can do it. It's going to take a lot of hard work. People are trying to do it at high levels. It doesn't mean that you can't. You just got to be smart with how you approach it.
Matt B, words to live by, my friend. Words to live by. Congratulations on Reflections. I'm so happy for you guys. I'm so proud of what you guys have accomplished. Just a phenomenal rock band. We need rock bands these days, you know.
I agree.
Not boxed. We need rock bands, and sure. You guys are proving to be one of the great new rock bands, which
thank you.
I think is super awesome. And congratulations on tour. Get some rest, baby. You're gonna need it. Here we go.
We're gonna see you in a couple weeks.
Going to see you in a couple of weeks. Looking so forward to seeing you with Shinedown and Coheed at the Prudential Center here in Newark, New Jersey. And of course, you guys are doing so many dates in the States. And then I think you've got Canadian dates as well. Yeah.
There's like 4 or 5 in Canada. So
awesome.
Yeah. Our Canadian fans were so mad that we hadn't come there in so long that even when we announced this tour, they're like, but what about Canada? And I'm like, read it. It's on there. We're going to Vancouver, Edmonton, Quebec City, Toronto. Like, I think that's it. And we were just in Montreal and Toronto. So yeah, we're doing quite a bit of Canadian dates this year.
I love it.
Winnipeg, though, we got to get back to Winnipeg. I know we love you. We miss you.
Winnipeg, they will be there. They promise they will be there. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I so appreciate it.
Likewise.
Don't forget to like this podcast and subscribe to the Carr Stereo page on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Rob Moorhead. TC and I will see you next time.